Alright, Title 49, Transportation, Subtitle B, Other Regulation Relating to Transportation, Chapter 12, Transportation Security Administration, Department of Homeland Security, Subchapter B, Security of Roads, All Modes of Transportation, Chapter Art 1520, Protection of Sensitive Security Information, Scope 1. Applicability of this governs the maintenance and safeguarding with the disclosure record of the information for the TSA with the determined that sensitive security information defined in Statute 1525. The part does not apply with the maintenance, safeguarding, disclosure of classified national security information as defined with Executive Order 1296-8 to other sensitive and unclassified information that is not secure sensitive secure information, but nonetheless may exempt from public disclosure under the Freedom of Information Act. In addition, in this case, information that has been designated as critical infrastructure information under Section 214 of the Homeland Security Act, receipt, maintenance, disclosure of such information by a federal agency or employee is governed by Section 214. Any implementing regulations not by this part. Regulation authority of TSA and the Coast Guard under this part may be further delegated to the TSA Coast Guard respectively. Terms used in this part. Administratively denoted by the Secretary of Transportation Security with the Title 49 U.S. Standard Code 114B, his or her designee Coast Guard, means United States Coast Guard. Covered persons means an organization in the individual or other person defined in 1527. In this case, individual covered person includes an individual applying for the employment in the position that would be covered as a person or in training in such position, regardless of which, including individuals receiving the wage, salary, or other payment. The covered person includes a person applying for certification or other form of approval is guaranteed would make the person a covered person as described in 1527. Federal Flight Deck Officer means participating in Federal Flight Deck Officer Program under Title 49 U.S. Standard Code 4492.1 implementing regulation. Maritime Facility means a facility is defined in Title 33 CFR Part 101. Rail Secure Area means rail secure area defined in Title 49 CFR 1583. Railroad carrier defined in Title 49 U.S. Standard Code 20102.2. Starting security intensity plan means a plan detailing response for procedures to address the transportation security incident threat assessment, specific threat against transportation, including detail of the preparation, response, mitigation, recovery, reconstitution, procedure for the continuing transportation operation, crisis management. Security screening means evaluating a person properly to determine whether they either pose a threat to security. SSI means sensitive security information defined in 1525. Threat image protection system means evaluation tool that involves the periodic presentation of fictional threat images to operators used with connection with X-ray explosive detection system equipment. TSA means Transportation Security Administration. That was 1523 terms used in this part. Alright, 1525, Sensitive Security Information General, according to Title 49 U.S. Standard Code 114, as sensitive security information pertaining to the development of technical security activities include research, development, and disclosure with the TSA. That is determined 1. Would constitute unwarranted invasion of privacy with included but not limited to information containing personal, medical, or similar files. 2. Reveal trade secret with the privileged confidential information obtained by any person. 3. Be detrimental to the Secretary with the Transportation Information Consulting with sensitive security information except the otherwise provided for the written in TSA with the interest of the public safety. Further, transportation security filing information records containing such information constitute sensitive security information. 1. Security program, security plans, contingency plans. Any security program, security plan with sincerity and contingency plan issued, established, received, required, received, approved by the Department of Homeland Security or Department of Transportation. Include any comments, instruction, implementing guides, include an aircraft operator, air operator, fixed base operator, air cargo, security program, security contingency plan under this chapter. Any vessel, maritime facility, port area security plan required or directed under federal law. 3. Any national area with a security plan under the Title 46 U.S. Standard Code 70-103. And a security incident response established in Title 46 U.S. Standard Code 74-104. And 5. Any security program required in subchapter D of this title. 2. Security directive orders issued by the TSA under Title 49 CFR 1542-303. 1544, 305, 1548, 19, or other authority issued with the Coast Guard under the Maritime Transportation Security Act, Title 33, CFR Part 6, Title 33 U.S. Standard Code 1221 related with maritime security. 3. Any comments on the instruction implementing guide as pertaining thereto with the information security with the notice issued with the Department of Homeland Security, the Department of Transportation regarding the threat of the aviation maritime transportation, including any information circular issued with the TSA in Title 49 CFR 1542, 303, 1544, 305, 1548, 19, other authority, and 2, the navigation vessel inspection circular issued with the Coast Guard related with the maritime security. 4. Performance investigation, any description of the test, object of the test, procedure within any device of federal government, any other person pursuing the aviation, maritime, transportation, security requirements of federal law of the detection of any person, any weapon, explosive, incendiary, destructive device, item, or substance, and 2. Any communications equipment with the federal government, any other person carrying out the complying with aviation, maritime, transportation, security requirements of federal law. Vulnerability assessment. A vulnerability assessment directly created, held, funded, and approved by the Department of Transportation, Department of Homeland Security, or those who provide with the Department of Transportation, Department of Homeland Security, and set Port Federal Security Programs, Security Inspection Investigation Information. 1. Detail for the Aviation Maritime Surface Transportation Inspection, any of the investigation, alleged violation, Aviation Maritime Surface Transportation Security Requirements of federal law that reveal the service security vulnerability, including the identified federal special agent, other federal employee conducted with the inspection or investigation, including the recommendations concerning inspection investigation. In this case, the investigation performed by the TSA includes the following information to the events that occurred in 12 months of the date of the release of the information, the name of the airport where the violation occurred, the airport identified with the case number, the description violation, the regulation allegedly violated, and identify with the aircraft operator connection, specific location, specific security problems, procedure of such information will be released after the relevant 12-month period, except the TSA will not release specific gate with the location on any airport where the event occurred, regardless of the amount of time that has passed since it occurs since its occurrence. During the period of 12 months of the date of the release of the information, TSA may release summaries of an aircraft operator's but an airport operator's total security violation specified time range without identifying specific violation or location. Summaries may include total enforcement actions, total proposed civil penalty amounts, number of cases open, number of cases referred to the TSA with the FAA, Council for Legal Enforcement Action, number of cases closed, threats, information, any information held with the federal government concerning threats against transportation system sources, methods used to gather, develop, and threat information, including threats against cyber infrastructure. 8. Security measures, specified detail, aviation, maritime, surface transportation security measures, both operation technical, whether applied directly with the federal government and any other person, including the following security member protocol recommended for the federal government. 2. For the information concerning the development of numbers for the operation of the Coast Guard personnel engaged in maritime security duties, federal air marshals to extent if not classified with the national security information. 3. Information concerning the deployment operation of federal flight deck officer, the number of the flight deck officer aggregated with the aircraft operator. 4. Armed Security Officer procedures issued with the TSA under Title 49 CFR 1562. 9. Security screening information with the following information regarding the security screening under aviation, maritime, transportation security requirements of federal law. A procedure including selection criteria with the comments, instruction, and implementation guides that pertain to the screening of the person accessible for the property check, baggage, U.S. mail, storage, cargo, the screen deck with the federal government, any other authorized person. Information source with information by use of the passenger property screening program system, including an automated screening system. 3. Detailed information about location, particular screening methods of the equipment that you use, then determined by the TSA with be sensitive security information. Security screen tester and score of such tests. 5. The performance of the testing test, security equipment and screening systems. 6. Electronic images shown in the equipment screening equipment monitor, including the threat images, description of the threat image of the threat image protection system. 10. Security training materials, records created to retain for the purpose of the training person employed with the contractor with or acting on the federal government, any other person carrying out the aviation, maritime, surface transportation security measures required under requirement by the Department of Homeland Security and the Department of Transportation. 11. Identified information criteria, transportation security personnel. Listed with the name of the identifying information of the identified as personnel have unescorted to access the secure area of the airport, rail secure area, and or secure restricted of the area, maritime facility, port area, and vessels holding positions as security screener employed under the contract with the federal government pursuant to the aviation, maritime, transportation security requirements of federal law, which are listed and aggregated by airport, C. Holding position with the Coast Guard responsible for conducting vulnerability assessment, security boardings, and engage operation and enforce the maritime security requirements of the conduct force protection. D. Holding the position of Federal Air Marshal. Or 2. Name other identifying information that identifies the person of the current or former applicable federal flight deck officer. 12. Critical transportation infrastructure asset information. A list of identifying systems, the asset with the physical, virtual, and vital aviation, maritime, surface transportation, like capacity for the destruction such assets would have a debilitating impact of the transportation security for the list of the prepared by the Department of Homeland Security, Department of Transportation, prepared by the state and local government agencies, submitted by the agency with the Department of Homeland Security or the Department of Transportation. 13. Secure system, secure information involved with the security of the operation with the administrative of the data system operative of the federal government that has been identified with the Department of Transportation, the Department of Homeland Security, with the critical aviation, maritime, transportation, safety, or security, included automated information security proceed with the system with the security inspection, vulnerability information concerning those systems. 14. Confidential business information, solicited, unsolicited proposal received with the Department of Homeland Security, with the Department of Transportation, negotiation arrived therefrom with the perform work, presumed with a grant contract with a cooperative agreement and other transaction, but only the extent of the subject matter of the proposal relates to the aviation, maritime, transportation, security measures. 2. Trade secret information, including information required for the request of regulation with the security directive obtained with the Department of Homeland Security, the Department of Transportation, carrying out with the aviation, maritime, transportation, security responsibility. And 3. Commercial with the financial information, including information required for the requested by regulation, security directive obtained with the Department of Homeland Security, the Department of Transportation, carrying out the aviation, maritime, transportation, security responsibility, but only if the source of the information is not customary to disclose it to the public. 15. Research and development and information pertaining to development and conduct of the research related to the aviation, maritime, or surface transportation, whether the research is approved, accepted, funded, recommended, directed by the Department of Homeland Security or Department of Transportation, include research results. 16. Other information, any information not otherwise described in the section of the TSA determine the sensitive security information under Title 49 U.S. Standard Code 114S, and security of the Department of Transportation determines the security information. Sensitive security information under Title 49 U.S. Standard Code 4119 upon request of the federal agency, the Transportation Security Administration, or the security of the Department of Transportation. Secretary of the Department of Transportation designate with the sensitive security information not otherwise described in Section C. Loss of sensitive security information designation. TSA or Coast Guard may determine the writing information records described in paragraph B of the section does not constitute sensitive security information because they are no longer meet the criteria set forth in paragraph A of this section. Alright, and that was 1525, sensitive security information. Alright, 1527, the covered person. Persons subject to the requirements of 1520 are each airport operator, aircraft operator, fixed base for the operators, or object subject to the requirements of subchapter C with the chapter for the armed security officer for the under subpart B with the 1562. Each indirect air carrier that described in Title 49 CFR 1548, each certified cargo screening facility is personnel with the Title 49 CFR 1549, each owner, charter, operator vessel, including foreign vessel owners, charterers, operators required to have the security plan under federal and international law, each owner and operative maritime facility required to have the security plan under Maritime Transportation Security Act. Each person performing function on the computer reservation system, global distribution system of the airline passenger information. Each person participating in the National Area Security Committee established in Title 49 U.S. Standard Code 7111 11-2 with the Board Security Committee. Each industry trade association representing the covered by the person entered into the non-disclosure agreement by the Department of Homeland Security and Department of Transportation. H. Department of Homeland Security and Department of Transportation. I. Each person conducting research and development activity relating to the aviation, maritime, transportation, security, and approved, accepted, funded, and recommended with the directed by the Department of Homeland Security. Or dot. Each person who has access to sensitive security information specified in 1520-11. Each person employed with the contractor acting covered person, including grantee with the Department of Homeland Security, with the Department of Transportation, including the person formerly in such position. L. Each person formerly vulnerability assessments has been directly created for the held, funded, with approved of the Department of Transportation, Department of Homeland Security, or has prepared vulnerable assessment that will be provided with the Department of Transportation, Department of Homeland Security, report the Federal Security Program. M. Each person receiving the sensitive security information under 1520 and 15D. Or E. Each owner and operator maritime surface transportation subject to requirements of subchapter D of the chapter. Alright, that was 1527, 20, and then 7 covered persons. Restrictions on disclosure of information, disclosure of sensitive security information due to protect the information, cover the person with the taking a reasonable step with the safeguard sensitive security information, person possession with control for the unauthorized act of disclosure. When person with not physical possession of sensitive security information, the person must store with a security container with such a locked desk, the file cabinet, or locked room. 2. Disclose otherwise provided access sensitive security information only cover the person who would need to know unless otherwise are authorized by the TSA with the Coast Guard, the security with the dot. 3. Refers to quote the other person's sensitive security information with the Transportation Security Administration for the applicable the component with the agency with the Department of Transportation, the Department of Homeland Security. 4. Make sensitive security information specified in 15-2013. Dispose of sensitive security information identified in 15-2019. Unmarked sensitive security information if it covers the receipt of the record containing sensitive security information marked as specified in 15-2013 with the covered person must 1. Mark the specified with the 15-2013. 2. Inform the sender of the record that the record must be marked as specified in 15-2013. Duty of the report author and authorized disclosure of the covered person become the sensitive security information has been released. Authorized person covered person must promptly inform the TSA of the applicable to of the DHS component or agency additional requirements for the critical infrastructure the information capable the information with the both the sensitive security information has been designated critical infrastructure information under Section 214 of the Homeland Security Act. Any covered person who is the federal employee with the possession of such information must comply with the disclosure restrictions or other requirements applicable to such information under Section 214, any implementing regulations. That was 1529 for restriction of disclosure of sensitive security information. 15-20-11, the person with the need to know, the general, the person have the need to know with the sensitive security in each of the following situations. When the person required for the access to specific sensitive security information carried over the Transportation Security Act with the approved of the phone of the recommended directive of the BHF of the job, when the person is trained in carrying out Transportation Security Act with the approved of the accept of the phone recommended of the directive of the DHS or dot, when the information necessary for the person with a supervisor with the otherwise managed to individually carry out with the Transportation Security approved activities approved accepted for the fund of the recommended of the directive of the DHF the dot, when the person needs the information to provide the technical legal advice covered for the person regarding the transportation security requirements of the federal law for a person needing the information represented by the covered person in connection with any judicial administrative proceeding regarding these requirements. B. Federal, state, local, and tribal government employee contractors and grantee. Federal, state, local, tribal government employee that have the need to know sensitive security information, access to the information necessary for the performance of the employee of the office for duties on the behalf of the defense for the interest of the federal, state, and local, and tribal government. A person active in the performance contract with a grant over the federal, state, and local, and tribal government agency that has needed to know the sensitive security information, access to the information necessary to form a contractor grant. C. Background check. The TSA with the Coast Guard may make an individual action for the sensitive security information contingent with the satisfactory completion of the security background check with the other procedure for the requirements of requiring sensitive security information satisfactory with the TSA with the other Coast Guard. Need to know further limited with the DHF at the top, for the more specific C with the sensitive security information DHF or top may make the finding of the only specific person classes of the person I have the need to know. 15-20-11, the persons with a need to know. Or 15-20-13, some of the security information, marking the paperwork records for the case of the record for the containing sensitive security information cover the person with the record, release from the protective of the making the conspicuous on the top distribution limitation statement over the bottom of the outside with any front and back cover, including the binding cover of the folder with the document, have front and back cover the any tile page with each of the page document. B. Protective marking. A protective marking called sensitive security information. Distribution limitation statement. The distribution limitation statement of the board and recommended sensitive security information control of the Title 49 CFR Part 15 and 1520. No part of the record may disclose to the purpose of the need to know what the defined in Title 49 CFR Part 15 and 1520, except with a written permission administered with the Transportation Security Administration, Secretary of the Transportation, or unauthorized release may result in civil penalty or action with the U.S. federal government agency. Public disclosure gives government Title 5 U.S. Standard Code 552, Title 49 CFR Part 15 and 1520, or the type of records then gave with no paper records containing the sensitive security information included in motion picture films and videotape recordings, audio records, including electronic magnetic rappers, covered person, excluded conspicuous mark the records with objective marking with a distribution limitation statement that's of the viewer of the listener of the reasonable likelihood to see or hear when the obtaining acts for the contents of the record. That was 15-20-13, some marking sensitive security information. Alright, sensitive security information disclosure with the TSA with the Coast Guard and generally accept the otherwise proposed notwithstanding with the Freedom of Information Act or the Privacy Act with the other laws require records containing sensitive security information not available to public inspection. Copies within order to the TSA with the Coast Guard relief starts with the records of the person without needing to know. The disclosure of the Freedom of Information Act with the Privacy Act if the record contains both sensitive security information that is not with the SSI, TSA with the Coast Guard with the improper Freedom of Information Act, Privacy Act request, Ministry of the record with the sensitive security information reactivated, provided with the record is not otherwise exempt from the Disclosure of Freedom of Information Act, the Privacy Act, the Disclosure Committee with the Congress, the General Accounting Office, is not nothing against this problem preclude the TSA or the Coast Guard from disclosing some security information for the Committee of the Congress authorized to have the information Comptroller General, unauthorized representative of the Comptroller General, D, the disclosure of the enforcement proceeding in general, the TSA with the Coast Guard, provide with the SSI with the person with the contact with the administrator of the enforcement proceeding, sole discreet for the TSA with the Coast Guard is a prohibited except for the sensitive security information necessary for the person to prepare with the respond with the allegation contained with the legal enforcement action, documents for the TSA with the Coast Guard, 2, for the security of the background check, nothing provide with the SSI person on the paragraph of the D1 over the section with the TSA with the Coast Guard may require with the individual in there in the case for the NE individually represented the ND with their counsel for the undergo with the satisfied with the judgment with the TSA or with the Coast Guard with the security background check. E, other conditional disclosure for the TSA may authorize conditional disclosure to specify the record for the information constitute for the sensitive security information problem with the written determination for the TSA with the disclosure so for the record the information subject for the test limitation restriction as the TSA must prescribe would not be detrimental for the transportation security of the obligation to protect the information when the individual with the sensitive security information pursuant to the paragraph D or E with this section when the individual becomes a covered person in 1527 subject to the obligation covered in part under this part with no least for the Freedom of Information Act with the TSI the disclosure of the sensitive security information pursuant to the paragraph B and E B through E of this section. TSA discovered the disclosure of the sole purpose described in the paragraph so for the disclosure of the not public release on Freedom of Information Act disclosure of the critical infrastructure information disclosure information is both within the SSI within the designated critical infrastructure information under the Section 214 Homeland Security Act governed solely with the requirement Section 214 implementing regulations. That's 15/2015 sensitive security information disclosed by the TSA or the Coast Guard. Alright, 15/2017 consequence of unauthorized disclosure of sensitive security information violation for the parts of the ground civil police other enforcement corrections acts by the Department of Homeland Security with the appropriate personnel for the action federal employee corrective action may include accessions in order requiring retrieval of sensitive security and information remedy unauthorized disclosure in order to cease further unauthorized disclosure. Alright, 15/2019, the destruction of sensitive security information. The Department of Homeland Security dealt with the requirements of the Federal Records Acts of the Title 5 of U.S. Code 105, that included the duty to preserve the records containing with the documentation federal agency policy decision, essential transaction DHF that destroys sensitive security information no longer need to carry out the agency function. Other covered person. In general, the covered person must destroy the sensitive security information completely prove the recognition and the reconstruction of information. Covered person no longer need the sensitive security information carried out with the transportation security measure. To exemption, paragraph B1 of the section does not require the local government agency to destroy information that the agency is required to preserve under state and local law. Alright, and that was 15/20 protection sensitive security information.